Welcome to the Caregiving Podcast. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie.
And long story short, we have Caregiving. We are two momtrepreneurs who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love. Almost 14 years later, we felt called to create this podcast as a resource for families with caregiving needs. Whether you care for a family member or are looking for advice on professional caregiving, we want this to be a platform to support you.
Each week, we will come to you with encouraging stories of families who have found the right balance for their loved ones, tips for how to care for them and you, and much more. We hope you continue to join us each week as we share in this exciting new journey together.
Hello, Sunshines, and hello, Julie.
Well, good morning, Inga.
How it goes?
Fabulous. Yeah. Fabulous.
What about it is fabulous?
Oh, just because it's another day in paradise.
Yes. You woke up and you're alive, you're breathing. You get to come to this beautiful building.
Oh, joy,
with the joy of podcasting.
Oh, joy, oh, joy.
It is fabulous, isn't it?
Oh, fabulous.
Because you choose for it to be fabulous.
Right. I choose not to be a miserable cow.
Yes. I concur. Oh my gosh. So I'm kind of excited about today. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit random.
Yeah, it is.
But I feel like those are the more fun episodes for us, really.
Yeah. So basically, we just found that there was a 90-year-old gal that had written 42 life lessons she has been taught throughout her longevity. And so she has made a list of that.
Yeah.
And so I did Google it. There are several people that have made lists, but I like this gal. She's out of Cleveland, Ohio. And she said, to celebrate growing older, I once wrote the 42 lessons life taught me. And so she just got more and more requests for the column. And so she shares it wherever she goes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I think I ran into your office this morning and said, I'm doing number 2 right now. Not number 2. Number 2 on the life lessons. Okay, well, maybe you can cut that out, Alyssa, please. But anyway. Number 2 life lesson. I'm going to do that right now. And I did. So anyway, well, let's do our verse and then we can get into the real good stuff.
You betcha.
Well, it's all good.
Of course.
Okay. So Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 12 through 13. I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all their toil. This is the gift of God.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah.
I love that.
I kind of tried to read the backstory and all of that to make sure I was using it appropriately. Mm-hmm. But truly, this is God's gift to us, is waking up every morning.
Yes.
Because that's what they call it, is the present, because it's a present every day when you wake up. Yep. And thus going through these 42 life lessons, it just all kind of pulled it together.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Well, what about a good news story? Did you bring one for us today?
I did. This is very cool. It'll be in the show notes. Basically, they did a release of the wild bison herd back into the Blackfoot tribal land. And they did that, back in July. It was earlier than this, but I just thought it was really cool. So the Blackfoot Nation released 30 wild bison back into their land, a project 9 years in the making, but the tribe believes it will be a momentous occasion for scientists to study the animal in its natural state. Mm-hmm. And so they just have a bunch of discussion about, the land, bringing it back, and how cool to be driving. I just love driving down and seeing bison or elk on the road. I don't like it when the elk are in my hay, but man, if they're up in the wild, they're just so beautiful. And that was kind of how I felt about seeing these bison when you're up in the Browning area.
Yeah. So, did you know that Kevin Lake wants to raise buffalo?
Oh, it's a bad idea.
I have heard that they are very destructive. Mm-hmm. They're pretty tasty, I've heard.
Yeah.
I myself have not tried it, but I'm with you on when you're driving along. And actually, isn't there something in Hot Springs area? Yeah. So when you're driving and you see like a big herd of buffalo, it's just, I don't know. Yeah. It's just something different about it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I love it so much. Yeah. I've wanted to get a couple of bison just to have them, since we have the cattle and everything. And everybody's like, do not do it. They will just rip and tear everything apart.
Yeah.
But if that's your focus, like the guy in Hot Springs, he actually went to school with my brother.
Oh.
And so it seems like they're pretty domesticated, pretty mellow. But it's a lot of work.
I would imagine. Got to
Yeah.
keep those fences strong,
Yeah.
right? Because
Then there's that guy up there though, on Hodgson.
Yes.
He's got a giraffe. Oh no, not a giraffe. He had
Camel?
a giraffe. A camel. He had a camel, a zebra, and a buffalo.
yep,
So one of each.
you know, just for looking at.
Yeah. People do. People enjoy it all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that is very, very cool. I hope that works out well. And I hope that next time I drive through Browning, I get to see some buffalo.
Yeah, you'll be looking for him.
Well, my story is about Demario Davis. And actually, Alyssa is going to, because she's techie, she's going to put a video up for us to listen to. It's something that I stumbled across when I was scrolling through TikTok. And I just thought that this story was so amazing. For me, it always comes back to just gratitude. And I think that that's something that we're going to be talking about in our life lessons, and just the ability to believe that there's something more and there's something better, and be grateful for what you have. And you just don't know what's even better. So anyway, take it away, Alyssa.
I started to realize something. Man, we play this game on Sundays, and it's really the Lord's Day. And the day we should be worshiping the Lord, a lot of times the players are getting worshiped, and we get to go on this ball field. So since so many of us didn't get to go to church today, I have a word that I want to share. I know this is a little untraditional, so like I said, buckle up. Revelations 3:20 says, "See, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and dine with him and eat with him and he with me." I want to tell y'all about a knock that I heard this week. A lot of people don't know this, but on Friday, my daughter, she's 4 years old, she had her third epilepsy seizure attack. It's my same daughter who survived retinoblastoma. She's been totally cleared of that, but she had her third seizure, and it's been almost 2 years. She was about a month away. If she would have had no seizures for one more month, then she would have been off the medicine, but now we have to start that clock all the way over. It was on Friday when a bunch of kids were over at the house, and she was playing, and I noticed something was off. And I told her mom I thought she was having a seizure. Her mom is pretty good. She saw it, my wife, and we took her in her room, didn't want to cause a scene, and she started to foam at the mouth, and it was her worst seizure. For 30 minutes, she seized. She wouldn't come, and we had to call the paramedics. They came, and so over the course of time, it ended up being a total of 30 minutes. They got her in. My wife got in the paramedics with her. I got behind them driving. You can imagine all the thoughts that's racing through your mind. The last sight you see of your daughter is she's totally out of it. Got to the hospital, and my wife told me that my daughter stopped breathing in the car twice. So I'm, of course, praying. We get to the hospital. They give her a bunch of medicine. She sees her stop. She's laying there. And at this point, if she sees for 30 minutes, you start to fear there could be development issues that could mess with her brain. She stopped breathing. If there was no oxygen going to her brain, you're starting to think about her speech be slurred or anything, or worse. So we prayed, and she had medicine, and my wife and I had to stay overnight at the hospital. And in the middle of the night, probably about 3 o'clock, I heard a knock. And the knock was my daughter. I prayed for her. I said, God, let this just be an attack from the enemy that's just trying to be a distraction, and let him have overplayed his hand, and my daughter come back stronger than before. When I heard my daughter talk in the middle of the night, and my daughter, she doesn't have any development issues, praise God. She doesn't have any slurred speech, prior to this. She woke up talking clearer than she was talking before. Now, anyone who deals with epilepsy knows that it takes a few days for them to come back. They usually can get back to normal wherever they were, but it takes a couple of days. They're groggy. It's a lot because what their body is like, it's like the TV just staticking in their brain. She was talking clearer than before, and it was 3 o'clock, and we heard her talking. We let her talk for about 20 minutes and said, hey, baby, it's nighttime. Let's go back to sleep. And I just prayed. I started saying, praise God, praise God. The next morning, when she got up, my daughter was so sharp. She was able to talk to me and her mom. I mean, clear conversation. She's sharp for a 4-year-old. No stuttering. All her words clear. And my daughter, like I said, my daughter is already sharp. She was sharper than before. And if any of you were able to have a conversation with my daughter, you wouldn't know anything had ever happened. So we had a birthday party for my 7-year-old daughter that day. She got to be released from the hospital, and she came back home. and it was as if nothing was happening. She was playing with the kids the day before, and she had the worst seizure that she had ever had. And the next day, she's back out there playing with the kids. Now, of course, we can't let her get overstimulated. We have to keep bringing her in, have to keep cooling her down. Can't let her do too much just because of protocol. But when I tell you, I got a chance to hear a knock from God. And what I want to share is we get to play this game, and it's great. And there's so many amazing things that happen in that game. And everybody wants to hear about them. But when we leave this game, we go back to being regular people. And regular people are living life. And people are waiting for a knock. And the word says who Jesus is, he's knocking at the door. All you got to do is get up. And so on the way, man, I'm nervous, but I'm praying. And I'm trusting. And I'm believing. And I'm asking for my daughter to make it through. I'm asking that she's better than before. And God gave me just what I asked for plus some. I was blown away. And at that point, I knew, well, the game is going to take care of itself. My knock had already been answered. And I just want people to know, like, if you got stuff going on in your life, lay it before the Lord. Lay it before the Lord and trust. And be expecting of a knock. Because the word says what you have to do is you have to get up and open the door. He's not going to open the door for you. He's going to knock. But you have to be listening and waiting for the knock. And when you see it, you have to get up and open the door. And your blessing is going to be there. Now, I'm going to be here to talk about football next week. I wish y'all well. Happy Sunday, and praise God.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah.
I thought it was
very
definitely
nice.
worthy of a share.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, listeners, if you have verses that you'd like to share, if you have good news stories, please email those to thecaregivenpodcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get going on these life lessons.
Right? Oh, number 1. Love it. Very many versions of all of these go around all the time.
Yes.
But this is how our gal Regina, how she worded it. Life isn't fair, but it's still good.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes. Life isn't fair, so get over it.
Well, we always say in raising animals, and especially animals that actually get exhibited at fair, at the county fair, we always say, life's not fair. Fair is where you go to show your animals. So you need to get over it and understand that that's just how it rolls sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really, I think, more about how you figure out how to deal with things when you feel that something has not been fair.
Yep.
But the sooner you can learn that life isn't fair, the better off you'll be.
Yeah. Yep. No, I tell you, if you gotta understand this one.
Yeah.
And apply it.
So here's my number 2.
Yep. You're number 2.
When in doubt, just take the next small step. Mm-hmm. So I have been agonizing over this big project for electronic visit verification mandates that are happening in our world, just agonizing over this project and what do I do and how do I best train the caregivers and what do I do administratively and blah, 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 blah. And so I've kind of been frozen.
Yeah.
But I read this morning and I was like, you know what? I'm taking my steps. So I literally got up from my desk, walked out, put up my big white piece of paper so I can start making my steps. And now I feel so much better because now I'm like, okay, I've started this project and I have a plan. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
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 So take that next step.
Oh my gosh. When I have a day to be able to stay at home, there's times that during the week things pile up. Mm-hmm. And then you're there, you finally get a couple hours just to be home. And you're just looking around and you're like, where do I even start?
Yep.
I don't even know what to do. So sometimes you don't. You just sit down and go,
not today.
Yeah, not today. But I've noticed that if I just don't quite know where I want to start, just start with something. Get the dishes done. Get a load of laundry going.
Yep.
Pick up that pile, and then you just kind of piddle around, and then later you look and you go, wow, I was really busy and I got a lot done.
Yep.
But you got to start somewhere.
Yep. True story.
Life is too short. Enjoy it.
We live this a lot at my house because we are not things necessarily people, or like we don't have the fanciest house. We don't have the nicest landscaping or any landscaping, if I'm to be honest. But we enjoy our life and we get to spend it with people and we get to spend it traveling and doing things that we enjoy. And that's more valuable to us than any of those other things. So we're learning that. And I'm trying to teach you to, take the day off. Go do your thing. Spend the weekend with your kids.
Yes.
At a, what is it? Lick Springboard concert? Dick Springerman.
Rick Springfield.
Oh, right.
The one, the only,
Yeah.
the legend.
All right. So your job won't take care of you when you are sick. Your friends and family will.
There you go.
And especially if you have a Grandma Fisher.
Yes.
She's very good.
Yes. Pay off your credit cards every month.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's a biggie.
Yeah.
A lot of people get in trouble
Yeah.
by not doing that.
Yeah. It is just a really great habit to get yourself into, because I think sometimes those things, then it just compounds and compounds and compounds.
Yep.
Then it gets out of control in a hurry. But yes, if you can do that, pay off your credit cards every month and try to keep it that way.
Yeah. Yep. You don't have to win every argument. Stay true to yourself.
This is, you hear my big sigh. This is one that I feel like I've matured a lot with, and that I try to help, my kids. And you don't always have to be right. Mm-hmm. You don't always have to be right. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can still believe what you believe, and it'll be okay, but also validate someone else. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to win every argument. You have to decide what's worth more.
Well, is this your mountain to die on?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because that is tough. It's hard not to say things.
Mm-hmm.
But they say that we don't listen to listen. We listen to respond.
Yes.
We're already working on what our response is going to be before we even listen to what they're saying. And there are times that actually less is more.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yep.
And you learn that the older you get.
Yes. I'm still working on it every day.
Something that I've done in the past is, like, maybe you're in a conversation or a text or something like that, and you type it all out, but then you stop and take a breath, and you're like, you know what? It doesn't need to be said. So wipe it out and then just move on.
Yeah. I've always heard write the letter, but don't necessarily send it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've also heard that basically, like, if you're really outraged about something, give it 24 hours.
Yep.
And then
you're really good at that one.
Yes, I have to sleep on it.
Yep.
And then I'll be able to respond in a calmer fashion.
Well, you do that with some of our bigger purchases here too.
I do.
Yeah, when it comes to money issues, you just aren't very impulsive at all.
Yeah.
You're very methodical in your plans, and it's just like, okay, bring it up and then let her chew on it.
Yep, for sure. I that has served us well, I think, in not making impulsive decisions. And especially when you get in sales situations where people are trying to sell you or push you into something that you're like, I'm not sure, but there are some things that, that we just know, right?
Yes.
So we act quickly. But
Yep.
anyway, she says, cry with someone. It's more healing than crying alone.
Yeah. I never really thought about that before.
Me either. And I am not a good crier. Like, I'm not, like, I don't cry often. And so my kids consequently, like, Bailey hardly ever cries. So when she does, it absolutely destroys me. And I'm like, man, I wish we would have cried more when, earlier on, because it's a thing.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Who wishes that they would have cried more?
Just you.
I know. I need to. Sammy, though, she'll be like, I needed a good cry, so I'm going to go watch a movie that I know I'm going to cry or something. And I'm like, I don't want to cry, so I can't watch that movie ever.
Literally, you'll go, is this going to make me cry? Because I'm not going to watch it then.
Well, it usually gives me a headache if I cry. So I'm like, well, I don't want that.
No, right. Okay. Save for retirement starting with your first paycheck. They say that everywhere.
Yes.
Just put away something.
That is as important
check.
as diet and exercise.
Yes. Putting away and saving.
Hey, wait, though. I wonder if by the time we get to number 42, if there's going to be anything in here at all that says eat your vegetables and make sure you exercise.
Oh, I would probably put money on it.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Okay, well, we'll see.
Because everything else does.
Right? Maybe this is the one episode that doesn't say that. When it comes to chocolate, resistance is futile.
Oh, funny. Yep. Make peace with your past so it won't screw up the present.
If that isn't the truth.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That is a big one. I think the most time I ever really, really think about this one is if somebody's having a long, drawn out, agonizing death. Because I've asked the family, have they made peace with everybody that they need? And so the kids are like, oh, were they okay with their parents? Were they okay with their siblings? Is there problems with any of the children? It's a rough one.
I was having a conversation with a client's daughter-in-law yesterday, and she was talking to me about healing wounds. And she said, it's really hard to heal your wounds when you're taking care of the person that caused the wounds. Ugh. So I thought that was very, very interesting. And now the person that caused the wounds is no longer in their right mind. Their dementia.
But the person is still
But the person
hurt.
is still hurt. And so trying to heal that is very difficult. And so they're just constantly living in that pain. But recognizing it, I think, is a good thing. That self-awareness and making steps and efforts to try to heal situations. So,
well, then, and this will probably come up, I'm probably jumping a hoop here, but then that person has to learn forgiveness of not only the person that hurt them, to whatever degree that means to them, but then to also forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's probably guilt there, all of the weird things that we do to ourselves. That's a tough one.
It's, that's really, really true. The forgiveness thing.
But we tell our caregivers often, probably every time, if there's any family dynamics going on with the situation, we're just like, okay, this is what we know. This is what we think we know. And remember, we don't know anything, because truly back in the day when they were kids and, was the dad a closet drinker, or was the mom, depression, or, what are the things that made these people so resentful of the situation? We will never know. Yeah. And it's shocking sometimes when we have people that will say, I had one gentleman tell me, he said, you're going to have to forgive me, but you know what, as I was being raised, my mother was an absolute bitch. And here's this incredible professional man telling me, he goes, I'll do anything for my dad, but I can't do anything for my mom.
Wow.
So here, I need you to take care of her.
Yeah.
He was honest.
Yep.
And that was his way of dealing with it. But I was shocked when that came out of his mouth, because I was like, holy cow. Well, and it taught me a lot to say, you know what? I assume this guy had a great life, very professional. He had a 3-piece suit on. He was the top of his tier in his chosen profession. But yet he still had stuff in his back pocket.
Yeah, from just
and it was
being a little
the trigger
kid.
Was his mom.
Yeah.
And now he was kind of role reversed, helping with mother.
Well, it's very, very true when you say, like, we think we know, we don't have any idea. Yeah. And so sometimes you can have the, unfortunately, like even us, we can have the tendency when you hear a story and you don't know the rest of the story, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that a person would call their mom a bitch, how would that even happen? But you don't know what happened all those years that led up to that. So
Yeah, and so we do try to stay really neutral.
Yeah,
and always say three sides to every story.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, just saying that if a situation ever were like not safe for, if there's so much resentment that it's not going to be safe for somebody, we're going to intervene at that point in time. You know what I mean? But yes,
we've had to. We've had family members show up on a doorstep screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's glamorous, this work we do. It's okay to let your children see you cry. And that's where my thing is. I've always tried to just shelter and shield whatever emotions I'm feeling from my kids. But
well, I usually have no filter. So whatever's
happening, it's all over your face. Everyone knows.
It's out there for everybody.
Yeah. I like this one. Don't compare your life to others. You have no idea what their journey is all about.
Yeah.
And I noticed that in like dealing with all kinds of different dynamics, even with like selling sheep and working with families and then the work that we do with our clients. And, you just don't ever truly know what someone is going through, or, what decisions are being made, maybe what sacrifices that one family's doing versus another.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard when you want to sit and compare to someone else's situation and you don't have all of the information, because I think at times that can have a tendency to create a lot of hard feelings over things that may or may not even be real.
Probably mostly not.
Mostly not.
Because the other, really the devil out there is social media. And that's where a lot of our younger kids are really falling into traps of comparing themselves to others and thinking that somebody's got it great because they're showing themselves at the lake or trying on new clothes or whatever, and they're not doing those same things. It's really a hit to self-esteem.
Yes.
It's really, really tough out there because we cannot help but be jealous. We cannot help but compare. And we've got to try not to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If a relationship has a secret, you shouldn't be in it.
Oofda. That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
I was just telling you a story about my daughter.
Yes.
She thought it was going to go out with a boy, and it was just to dinner. It was very, non-committal or anything. But all of a sudden, just before he was going to make the final plans to pick her up, he dropped a bomb, and she was like,
"Well, this changes things."
Wait a minute. We've been talking for so long, and you've never brought this up. Wow.
Yeah.
I have to step back from this.
Yeah. Take a deep breath. It calms the mind.
You got to remember to take the breath.
Oh, man. I think I've told this story before, but we will say that to our show kids because sheep at times are naughty and they're super strong. And sometimes they give the kids a hard time in the show ring. And then it's just funny. You can literally see the energy go from the kid through their hands into the lamb.
Yep.
And then everybody's off to the races,
Oh,
right?
boy.
So if you can make eye contact with a kid that you see is kind of fizzling or spinning out of control, you just basically remind them to take a breath. And then it's like it just... let it go. And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm thinking about not just the breath, but your mom when she was saying, you've got 5 seconds.
Yep.
5
to
seconds to panic and then pull it together.
Then you get a plan and that's so cute that my mom's like, and I'm taking every one of those. 1001. No, anyway, I loved that podcast with our moms.
Yeah.
Like if you listeners haven't seen it, it was the 100th episode and it was my favorite episode we've ever done because it just reiterates like how dang smart our moms are.
Yeah.
They have so much to offer.
Yeah. Yeah. I see a lot of stuff, speaking of social media, where it says something about, if as you get older, you find out your mom was right after all.
I know. What did Sammy sent me one time something about like if at first you like try and fail, then try doing it the way your mom told you to do it in the first place.
It probably took a lot for her to send that, and it was
she's like, dang it. If I would have just done it your way. And I tell that to Bailey too, like I'm not going to set you up for failure, and I do have a lot more life experience than you. So possibly just try it my way first, and you might save yourself some time. Yep. But if you want to do it the hard way, that's okay.
There's a wall. See it? You're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Get rid of anything that isn't useful. Clutter weighs you down in many ways.
So can I just say, in my life, this would apply to relationships too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I've seen some stuff. I've experienced some stuff. I've seen my kids go through some stuff. If you're in a relationship, a friendship, whatever that looks like, and it is not useful and it is not moving you forward or bringing you any joy, it's time to move on. Maybe they're not your people.
Yep. No, I love that. That's a different kind of clutter because I'm thinking about my house again right now.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Whatever doesn't kill you really does make you stronger.
There you go. It's never too late to be happy, but it's all upon you and no one else. Man.
Yes. Learning that early on in life is a smart thing to do. You have to figure out how to be happy with yourself. You have to figure out not to rely on other people.
Yep. If you are content with yourself, then you don't have to reach to other people for your happiness. And that's a big life lesson. Big one.
Yeah. When it comes to going after what you love in life, don't take no for an answer.
Oofta.
It's your story.
That's a good one. I need to work on that one.
I
burn the candles, use the nice sheets, wear the fancy lingerie. Don't save it for a special occasion. Today is special. I like that one a lot.
I love that one.
We always tend to do that. Oh no, this is going to be for.
We have to save this for this special occasion.
Yeah.
Like, no. Bring it out. We're using it today. Let's see. Over prepare, then go with the flow.
Oh, I love that.
I like that a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you a situation where that happened to us. When we travel, like I've gotten better. So I used to be way, way, way over the top, just insane about plans and everything like that. Now I'm like, a couple days in advance or whatever. But I always, if we're going somewhere, I want to make sure that I have that hotel reservation before we get there. Set things up so that because you can't count on that you're just going to walk into a hotel and there's going to be a room, right?
Right.
Well, we had this situation where we had gone to Billings and I don't remember what we went for, something to do with sheep, I'm sure. But anyway, I had our hotel reservation. We show up and it was late by the time we got there because we left work, right? And drove to Billings. So walk into the hotel and I was like, hey, we're here to check in. And the guy's like, yeah, you don't have a room anymore. We scanned your card and it didn't work. And so we released your room. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you got nobody called, nobody, whatever. Well, what it turned out had happened is many years ago, I had made a reservation at that hotel through like an Expedia or something like that. So when I called to make the reservation directly with the hotel, whoever was there just pulled up the old, like from years ago.
Oh no.
And it was a credit card that we didn't have anymore.
Oh, no.
So when they ran it, it declined it. They didn't call me. There was no notice or anything like that to say, sorry, lady, there's no rooms. And it was busy time in Billings. So they had no rooms.
Oh, no.
So I was like standing in front of this guy and I'm like, okay, well then you got to help me find another room. So he's calling and every hotel he calls, no, the answer is no, we don't have any availability. And I can see the panic setting in on him a little bit too, but he's really digging in his heels that they did the right thing. Well, we finally did end up getting a hotel. It was way farther away. It was more money. So we were just like, well, I mean, we're going to be grateful that there's at least some place for us to stay, not just in our pickup truck, right? So we went to the other hotel and then I was able to reach out later to that hotel, like the one that gave our reservation away, talked to them, explained the situation. They looked into it, figured out what happened. And they're like, you know what? Next time you come, it's on us.
Wow.
So I didn't completely lose my mind and burn that bridge, but I did think about lighting the match because I was like, are you kidding me? Anyway, prepare and then go with the flow.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah.
Be eccentric now. Don't wait for old age to wear purple.
I think that was cute. Yeah, that's adorable. The most important sex organ is the brain.
Yep. No one is in charge of your happiness but you. Notice this is the second time that a version of this has come up.
Yeah.
You are responsible for your own happiness.
Yeah.
Do not rely on other people. Do not put it on other people that they are responsible for your happiness. It's up to you.
Big deal. Yep. Frame every so-called disaster with these words. In 5 years, will this matter?
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Because I can think now of some of the things that I thought were the biggest situations in my life. And now you're like, it wasn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah. We made it.
Yep. Always choose life.
Always choose life. Oh, good one. Forgive, but don't forget.
I think that's important for me in the manner of, being able to forgive people for situations, but just remembering that, hey, maybe I don't put myself in that same situation with this person.
Don't let it happen again.
Don't let it happen again. It's not that you have to hold on to it and have it be negative all the time. It's more so like for self-preservation.
Really true.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
I love this one. What other people think of you is none of your business. That is a little bit of a problem with social media, though.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, when you put yourself out there like that, though, people are going to say stuff. What do they call them? The haters?
Oh, yeah.
There's always going to be the hater or the one that just says something stupid just to say something.
Yeah. If you listen to like people that are like highly successful people, I mean, they will always come back to that because you're going to, no matter what happens in life, there are going to be people out there that don't like you, whether it's justified or not, but it's none of your business.
Yeah.
And it's easy for me to say, oh, don't worry about it because it kills me. It destroys me when I think that someone doesn't like me.
Yeah.
But also I shouldn't even really know about it or think about it or spend any time on it because I know who I am and I like me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the one thing that goes hand in hand with this, and I doubt it's on the list, is if somebody tells you something about somebody and you go and tell them, did you need to do that?
Right. That's I've always taught my girls, and I've always tried to apply that to myself. Like, is it necessary?
Right.
Does it add to the situation in any way, shape, or form? If someone is just talking to you and they're saying something about so-and-so, and then you turn right around and go tell so-and-so, like, what have you done?
Yeah.
I mean, because that wouldn't make me feel good to tell someone that's, I just don't you don't need to share it.
Yeah. Yep, that's a hard one though. We love to be able to share all of those things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very appropriate because you need to know.
Yes, absolutely.
But if it's just going to hurt their feelings or bring them down.
If it's just something stupid like so-and-so said that they didn't like the way that you wore your hair yesterday. Well, what does that add to a situation? Like, can you fix how you wore your hair yesterday? Did you like how you wore
Somebody
it?
would be saying that to me every day, and I would just
God,
crush.
Alyssa, I just don't like the way that Julie wears her hair. No.
Yeah.
I love it because it's you.
Yeah.
So
that thing.
there.
Farm hair don't care.
Yeah. Time heals almost everything. Give time.
Yeah. That one's a hard one.
It is a hard one.
Some people would argue that.
Right. And I guess it's just, it's probably depends on the situation and the gravity of whatever it is.
Topic.
And yeah.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that the things in my life that I have felt were the biggest, most impactful in a negative way, time has done a lot to heal a lot of those.
Yeah.
So give time.
Yeah. However good or bad a situation is, it will change. The only constant is change.
Yep.
It's so interesting when I say that to people in a home visit.
I was going to say, I hear you say that to people a lot.
I do, because they think they are prepared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do not think that this is going to stay like this. Because just when you think you got a pattern or something, a behavior or whatever, it's gone. And then you got to figure that out. So just be ready for change.
Yeah. Don't take yourself so seriously. No one else does.
Yeah.
I take myself a lot less seriously after I've been friends with you. And that's one of the things that I think is great because you've taught me how to chill out, loosen up, man. Have some fun. Don't be so serious.
Well, I have thrown all caution to the wind at this age, and with the silly stuff I do on social media and even these podcasts, I used to worry about if I had stuff in my teeth or this is who I am, and it's just one of those things that I know I drive a lot of people crazy, and they're just like, oh, she's so too much. She's just too much, and that's okay. Then don't be around.
Right.
But it is I is I.
Yep, you is you. Well, we love it. Believe in miracles.
Oh, I love that one so much. You have to believe.
Yeah. Just like the story, just like the good news story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't audit life. Show up and make the most of it now.
Agreed. Live, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Growing old beats the alternative, which is dying young.
Yeah. Your children get only one childhood. Man.
Yeah.
That one's good. I do look back and hope that my children only think good, Yeah. I mean, I know things were different back then. I was learning, when you pop out a kid, the manual doesn't follow it.
None.
What?
No manual. You're just like, it's like, good luck. I mean, honestly, how do they trust us with these things?
With a baby human.
My biggest legitimate worry was, how will I know if I have put too many blankets or not enough blankets? How will I know if my child is warm enough or too, not warm enough or too warm?
Right.
That's insane.
And amazing. She's almost 21 now.
She made it.
She made it. You didn't do too many blankets or not enough.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, my word. All that truly matters in the end is that you loved. Truth. There's no, you can't even top that one.
You really can't. Get outside every day. Miracles are awaiting everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's a miracle every time I see a white feather.
Yeah.
Because of the randomness of where I see them.
Yeah.
It makes no sense at all why they would be where they are. But
yeah, I just took one the other day, and I was going to send it to you. I never sent it to you. But that's kind of our thing.
Yes.
Is if you see a white feather, we send it to
good,
each other.
good things are coming too. Yep. If I love this one. This one is like maybe the best of
All
the
of
whole
them.
thing.
Yeah.
If we threw all of our problems in a pile and saw everyone else's, we'd grab ours back. You do not know what someone else is going through.
Yeah.
Ever.
And that's so true. When we had our support group going, it was just a general support group. So we had people there that were dealing with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and just chronic illness. And when they would leave, they felt better knowing that they weren't the only ones that had something hard going on, but they wouldn't change their life for that other set of problems.
And I think that a lot of times it was very much a situation where they'd come in and then they'd be like, oh, maybe mine aren't as bad. But then likewise, somebody else is probably looking at them going, oh, mine aren't as bad as that.
Right, exactly right. They're looking at each other going, oh, your life
I don't want
is
yours.
so hard right now. And oh, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Envy is a waste of time. Accept what you already have, not what you need.
Yep.
And that's so true. And that's I think, such a trap that we all can have a tendency to fall into on the envy. But I try to look at things like if I start to feel myself being like, oh, well, somebody has something that I don't have, then I'm like, but is that really what I would want?
Yeah.
Or should I just be happy for them that they have something that they really want? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to change your mindset on it so that you're not kind of coveting what someone else has.
It will only eat you up.
Yes.
And that negative energy that you're sending towards that, just it consumes you.
Right. And then you probably inadvertently make someone else feel bad because they're just happy about what, something good in their life. And it's just envy is a weird thing. And
my dad was so cute about things. We'd be driving down the road and he'd go, oh boy, I sure like their barn. I wish I had that barn and they had a bigger one.
I remember you telling that story like often. And I think that's such a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
The best is yet to come.
Oh, what? That's a goodie.
It's true because I know that there are still future Farm Mama fitnesses to come. So,
oh Lord. No matter how you feel, get up, dress up, and show up. That one's hard.
Just show up.
Yes, if you can, just get up and then show up. But at least you did that much. Oh, wait, do get dressed.
Yes. Dress.
Get dressed.
Pants are not optional. Pants are required.
But they do say that if you get up and you dress up, you will feel better all day long.
It's true.
Putting on your makeup or doing whatever it is to make yourself be the part.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do feel that every day. And I've been trying to do a better job here of just, wearing something a little bit nicer. Not that it's ever bad what I wear, but I can tell you that when I do dress up a little bit more, I just feel a little bit better. I stand a little bit taller.
I can also guarantee you on the days that I've decided, I don't think I'll wear those nicer pants. I'll just wear my jeans today. Guaranteed that's the day that I'm going to get a sudden home visit and I have to either run home and change real quick or whatever.
I know. I'm like, well, I finally cleaned my bedroom, right? My office, because I had a bunch of clothes there. I don't know why. I guess I was just hanging on to them for those situations if I wasn't quite dressed as well. But I cleaned my room and took all of that home. So now I have to be prepared for the home visit.
That's better for sure.
Yes. Not that I do a lot of them, but occasionally I try to do one here or there. Yes. Yield. Mm-hmm. That is number 41. Yield.
Yep. Do it. Life isn't tied with a bow, but it's still a gift. That was back to our Bible verse when we very first started.
Yep.
So that was a lot of positivity.
No vegetables. No exercise.
Oh my gosh, broccoli wasn't brought up once. Woo-hoo.
Not one time. And so this is Regina Brett. 90 years old of the Plain Dealer, Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, the Plain Dealer, is that like the publication?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you see my mind trying to
Process
calculate what was going on there? Because I'm like, wait a minute. But anyway, yes, Regina Brett, we appreciate you, and we agree. These are 42 life lessons that
Wonderful
are
lessons.
extremely valid, and we could all learn a lot from.
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
What did you bring for Grandma saying? What are we learning today?
Well, so the funny thing is we just learned 42 of them.
Yes.
But I thought we'd do
Wait, one more just for good measure.
a grandmother one. So basically, I had heard about this one, so I looked it up, and it's put a sock in it.
Ooh,
Usually, everybody assumes that means be quiet. Zip it, zippy, right? Because that's how I use it. Oh, just put a sock in it.
Yep.
Well, actually, it originally is reference to the phonograph, which was, it would play the music.
Oh, and then
it had the big horn,
like the
to
speaker.
amplify,
Yeah.
the sound. And since there was no volume control, they'd put a sock in it.
that's how they would control
Yep.
the volume.
Yep, that's where they said put a sock in it.
Oh, that's crazy. Have you ever heard can it?
Oh,
You've never heard? Like,
well, I've heard it, but yeah,
that put a sock in it just made me think of can it. Like, that's enough. But maybe we'll have to look into
I'll have
that
to
one.
look up can
Is
it
that
now,
what was your take on can it?
oh, basically the same.
Like, just knock it off, can it?
Yeah,
Done.
put it in the can and put the lid on it.
Put a sock in it.
Zip it.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop is
Huh.
what it boils down to.
Yes. Stop.
Stop it.
I do love that, though. I like hearing where all of these sayings come from because you don't
Well,
really know. You just
90%
know what
of the
they
time
are.
I'm wrong. If you can believe that.
That is very hard to believe.
I know. I know.
Well, listeners, thank you so much for being with us today. If you have not yet subscribed, please do that at like Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. That is the Caregiven Podcast. And if you have a verse, a good news story, if you have a saying that you think is worth sharing, please email those to thecaregivenpodcast@gmail.com and go like our Facebook page, join our group. I think we done did it, Julie.
Yeah, yeah. And, since we're into the hundreds now,
Yes.
we would love some reviews.
Oh, yes.
I think we need to know what.
Please.
what-
Only good ones, though, please.
What was that one? Number what? We don't care what people think about us. 'Cause
Right. Something like that. And it's none of our business. So
that one we might actually have to make our business if
Yes.
they're like, you stink.
hey, if we do stink, just reach out individually. Send an email. Let us know how we can be better. But we do accept 5-star reviews.
5-star plus.
Awesome. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Have a good day.